Hello, everyone. And we reached the point in our series where we are talking about how you are making decisions without overthinking it. And what we mean by that is the minute you have like an insight to something that you need to do, how do you act upon it really, really quickly? Because we do know that the human tendency is actually to do the pause, to do the cons, and maybe to pause a minute and stuff like that, especially in the corporate world. And what we're here to tell you today, no, let's set this aside. I will set the structure. If you are with us from the beginning of the series, we ask you to write down where you want to go and what is success for you and what do you want to achieve with our manifestation process. And you should already have your supporting emotions and your not supporting emotions. And now we reach the place where your mind already know where you want to go. And now it's going to provide you opportunities to how actually get to your destination. And how do you act upon those actually opportunities? And in my opinion, the best way is just go for it. But I would let Lena also share what she thinks.
Yes, I mean, making decisions without overthinking is a superpower, and we all have it within us. So when it comes to logic, we already use our logic for everything in our lives. And actually, Sarita and I were talking earlier, and she says the fact that you already go to work, that's using logical reasoning minds. And there is absolutely place for it. But even when you think about like people who achieve tremendous success in lives, like Steve Jobs and Richard Branson, they rely on the power of their intuition. It's that small voice within us that already knows what the next right step is, knows the right decision. And I just want to kind of drill a little bit into what intuition is, because I know some still see it as a woo-woo, and some are kind of doubtful about it, whether they have intuition or not. So firstly, we all have intuition. It's a given. What actually intuition is it allows us to make decisions faster. And the reason for that is because it's non-linear, meaning that it bypasses our conscious minds, and it goes straight into our subconscious minds. And subconscious minds stores all of the memories, data, all of the experiences, information we've heard, seen, and witnessed from the time we were born. So it contains tremendous amount of information. And the beautiful thing is it's already inside of you. So you don't have to go and seek it anywhere else. And also research has shown that our subconscious mind processes information 27,000 times faster than our conscious mind is. So not only you access it directly, but you also process it quicker. And that's why decisions are instant in a moment. And intuition is something we experience in our bodies. It's just different. We all experience it differently, but it's always in our body, because intuition is the language of the body.
To take it a step forward, and just to connect it, and just make it very connectable to you on a very simple level, in my opinion, is that currently thoughts is your biggest barrier to actually acting upon what you think should be done. And I am part of Eckhart Tolle school of teaching the present moment, because all your power is always in the present moment. I will do a separate video explaining exactly how you can contribute and benefit from that. But in the present moment, when you're actually beyond thoughts, you have all your power. And one good exercise to actually do that is by actually not thinking. So it's a muscle, it's an exercise. I know how you are currently sitting there and you're saying, how would I do that? So small games you can play with yourself. For example, you're driving the car. When you're driving the car, you're actually not thinking about it. You're doing it automatically. Automatically means that you are beyond thoughts. Your body already knows how to do that. Sometimes I'm sure you're getting home and you have no idea how you got there, because there is no recollection of the way that you drove yourself home. So you're already in that state of actually going beyond thoughts. Okay, so just play a game with you between this traffic light to the next one, or when I'm in traffic, I'm not thinking, I'm just observing outside. What are the numbers of the car? What are the colors? What bird do I see? What is the weather? Just play with yourself. And the minute you're giving your mind something to look at, he's not talking to you because he's looking for something outside. And those usually for me are the more creative moments, when I'm driving my car or taking a shower, that actually my intuition is presented to me. Why? Because finally I can hear it. It's not occupied with what I have to do. Where do I have to take the kids? What am I actually cooking for dinner? Okay, I will get there. And my kids will not go hungry. And I will definitely finish my all to-do list. But actually, those are the places that you can actually practice stillness and hear those intuition. And one more thing I wanted to say, intuition comes in different colors. So if we are going to say something, but intuition feels different to you, you are your own guru. So for some people, it's actually like some kind of a burning inside to do something. For some people, it's actually that small voice, and this is how they can identify from thoughts that are really, really screaming and saying different things in opposite direction. And actually, that intuition is a small voice. We can just share with you how we found our voice, but you already have it. The only thing is that you have to remember how it used to talk to you. So if none of our examples work, find your own way. Find that stillness moment, and you would find that interaction and what intuition means to you. Right, Lena?
Yeah, exactly. And just to touch on 2 points. So you're right, intuition speaks to us differently. And for example, I'll give you an example I think pretty much anybody can relate to. So far, I haven't had a single person who said, no, it never happened to me. I'm sure we've all been in a scenario where maybe you didn't have all of the facts and the data, feedback was ambiguous, but somehow you knew what needed to be done and you acted on that knowing, that inner knowing, and it was the best decision you've made. And then also maybe you were in a situation where you got the feedback, you got the data, but something within you just did not feel right and you did not listen to that voice. And later you went like, oh, crap, I knew I should have listened to myself, right? We've all been in those situations, and that's a great example of how intuition talking to you. And I know that ignoring that voice can be very costly, especially when we make decisions centered around people, like evaluating job opportunities, whether to apply for promotion, things like that. Your body will never lie to you, but the mind, the thoughts, that exactly what Sarit said, they're obstructing us from making decision that is right for us. And also it's like a muscle. It's exactly like if you want to go, let's say, get fit for your marathon, you would go to the gym, you'd actually have to get on a treadmill, not once, but consistently to train it. And it's the same with intuition. And you've got to start building that muscle. And you can even start with small little things, like I play games, let's say with my daughter, like where I'd guess what she wants to do to have for dinner and things like that. So you can start practicing and developing, and you will see that over time, that voice gets stronger and stronger inside of you. And just to add on this, Sarit gave a great example on how we can start developing this voice by stilling, by pausing the thoughts and like going from traffic light to traffic light. And I've practiced that. And yeah, I mean, initially I think I managed like a minute, but then, it slowly started increasing. I'm still working on that. And for me personally, what really works well is to find time in my day. It's usually every morning, in the afternoon if I'm by myself. Sometimes I even like do an hour of it. I will just go and sit on a couch in silence. You don't have to do an hour, don't worry, even if you do like 2 minutes, because that little voice will never speak to you when you're running from one thing to next, trying to like fill your day with things to do. And I know, because I've been that person. There wasn't like a space in my day, and even if there was a space, I was going to make sure that there wasn't a space. So without finding that stillness, just few minutes a day, even if it's the last thing at night, you can just sit and be with yourself and reflect on things that are bothering you, that you can't find solution to, some of the problems, and just listen. And I promise you, answers will always come eventually.
A few more examples on how you can find that space. Usually when we want to demonstrate that place, we refer to athletes. Athletes actually, they are in the zone. How they're getting in the zone? They're getting in the zone by getting stillness, and then they're actually hearing what they need to do. So if you read any biography of somebody who achieved something in sport, they will talk about the zone. They will talk how actually intuition was talking to them, that they were able to make the most tremendous shot or something that is actually memorable. People that are in life-death situation, usually paramedics or cops or whatever, would they reach like a death situation, everything comes silence and intuition comes in. People that go to play extreme sports or do extreme sports actually know how to identify that place by connecting to that experience. There is new age experience like ice bath. You can do those, and that moment that your body is going into shock because of the pain. What we are trying to tell you is that the minute you will pick a pointer to exactly what it means to you to hear that voice, that's a muscle, and then you would increase it in time. In order to exercise this muscle, it's very important that the minute you recognize it and act upon it, and we promise you that the minute you act upon it, it will get you more closer to your destination, to where you actually wanted to go with this manifestation process. Just recognize it. Because the minute you recognize it, it will be again like a muscle that you can go on. And the more you would recognize it, and the more you will tell your mind, this is where I want to be, more opportunities will come in your way. You will gain a momentum, and it will get you closer to your process.
Yeah. And that actually, ties in with the video we did on aligned actions, because that's how you get the next action step. So when you trust your intuition, and the most important thing, not just to listen to it, but to act on it. And sometimes your thoughts will kick in and they were like, well, that doesn't make sense. But from personal experience, we can share with you that intuition doesn't always make sense to the logical mind. But when you actually have the guts to act on it, it's like, you have that sense of fulfillment that you wouldn't have when you're acting just on the thoughts, which normally come from place of doubt, from worry, from the memories of the past, because the results you get that way are very predictable. They're limited. And that's why we don't really, nothing really changes significantly in our lives. But when we trust ourselves to take that leap of faith, to follow that little voice within us that tells us to do the next thing, that's when the true magic happens. And we're here to manifest, we're here to create, we're here to work with the universe, and this magic is available to us.
So my intuition just kicked in and asked me to give you a few examples, because decision is a big word. And I wanted to say it's small and big. So it can be from asking you to go to lunch with somebody at work that you usually don't. Okay, so if you are contemplating if doing it, I'm saying let's do it. If you actually never thought to raise your hand and ask a question in a meeting, and you got the urge to do it, so raise your hand and just act upon it, see where it takes you. It can lead you to a request for feedback that you never did, reach out to demonstration, demos, work, analysis that you never did before. So we're not talking about like, when we're saying decision, we're talking about anything that we'll put in front of you as a suggestion that you normally never, it's outside your comfort zone, basically, that you never did it before. We are asking you to understand where it's coming from. If that is coming from the voice that we currently define as intuition, we recommend that you would go with it and you would do it, because only creating from the unknown will get you to that place that you want to go. And we are just helping you understand how to get there. You had it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, guys, the only way really for us to get somewhere where we haven't gotten there before is to stretch and expand ourselves, because when we keep on doing predictable things, we will always get predictable results. So if something within you just like tells you to go and do it, don't let your fear stop you, because you will live. Trust me, the worst things can happen. You would feel a bit for a little while, but the more you do it, the more our purpose in life is to feel freedom, right? So what freedom is it when you can't even lift up your hand and express yourself? What freedom is it that when you can't even ask the person you want to go for lunch? That's not freedom. So intuition is actually your ticket to freedom.
So a person that is dear to my heart once told me that if you want to get somewhere new, you have to show up as you never shown up before. Come as the unpredictable person. Why? Because already everybody knows who you are. So you become predictable. And by showing up as a new person, that actually provides you new opportunities. And I think that's the most logical conversation I had with somebody that actually defined to me, how can I get to places I never saw before or never been before? And as Lena said, there is one of you in the universe. And that's the only thing. So why prevent the universe from actually seeing the only thing which is you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's just to recap, guys. We are all intuitive already. Okay, there's nothing to learn, but unlearning is required. So find a couple of minutes a day. I mean, the more the better, just to sit quietly or go for just go for a walk, but without the headphones or talking to someone or kids or anyone, just you in a nature. So Reed gave an amazing exercise also. When you're driving, when you're walking, say, I'm going to walk to this lamppost. And while I'm walking, I'm not going to think about anything, and train your mind to stop the constant chatter. So this is just a few examples, that you can use and start building on that, and let us know how it goes.
And if you didn't know, we built an amazing Instagram for you. So when Lena is recommended to you to take that coffee, we want to be your friend. And she worked so hard on it, and you've got tips. And if you still have the reflex of opening your phone when you need a few minutes, so we want to be there for you. And there is a lot of content, inspiration, quotes, tips on how we can keep with you through the process of actually getting to where you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes, doing that by yourself can be a little bit challenging. So we're sharing content with you. Obviously, it's up to you to act on it or not. But if you just need a little bit of a touch up while we're not here talking to you, Instagram is the place to go. And we're constantly putting new content, some tips on manifestation, on observing your thoughts and emotions. And yeah, I think you will find quite relevant information there. So don't forget to check it out. We're going to put a link in a comments below. And also, if you like the content, then like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.